Hey VC, this is Luke with Hot Wax and Cool Vinyl. Welcome back. Last week I did a video where I showcased a few of my soundtracks, movie soundtracks, and that was enjoyable. I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed thinking about which ones I wanted to show, and so I thought this week I would do something similar, obviously without soundtracks, but I wanted to show my Clash collection. For those who may not know, The Clash is and has been my favorite band for years. I was a punk rocker when I was a young teen, or in my late teens, and even through my early 20s. And the one band that I associated the most with was The Clash. I enjoy their music. Thought their lyrically, and their messaging of disenfranchisement of a certain section of the British population, by extension the U.S. population as well, just kind of spoke to me. I felt part and parcel of that, and I just, there was a certain musical camaraderie that I felt with the band. So they became my favorite band, and they are to this day. So starting with our collection, their premiere album or debut album is self-titled, The Clash. And I'll show you this one first. This is my US promo pressing, gold stamp promo. And a couple of things on this particular album. This was produced by Epic. This is not a first press, you can tell by the barcode on the back. This is a later reissue or repress, but some of the oddities on this particular album, if you look on the photo, if you're a Clash fan, you recognize all four of the members on both sides. However, if you look at the credits, now the credits as far as who the band is, on the US pressing, Mick Jones, Joe Strummer, Paul Simonon, Tori Grimes, and then Nicky Hedden, also known as Topper. However, in the UK press, a couple of oddities on this one between the two. The Clash US pressing, Clash upper right, upper left, I'm sorry if you're looking at it from there. Lower left on the UK press. So, and the photo is much larger on the UK side than it is on the US pressing. Second oddity on this, this is a CBS label versus the Epic label. And on the liner notes, for this particular case, you've got Mick Jones, Joe Strummer, Paul Simonon, and Tori, but you don't have Topper on this one. So Topper wasn't listed on the UK pressing of The Clash. And if you look on the cover, obviously, there's only three of them here. You don't see Tori on the cover at all. And that supposedly is because Tori left before the album was produced. I'm a Clash fan, but not so much so that I want to read about who their first drummer was and what the drama was between the first drummer. If anybody happens to know it offhand, leave me a comment, because I'm not gonna go crazy looking for it. But if you know it offhand and you want to just give me 2 seconds, take 2 seconds of time to enlighten me, it is very much appreciated. Also, favorite song on the debut album, Flash City Rockers. Hard driving song, just really love the song. Great album in total, but Flash City Rockers is my favorite. The second album, the Give 'Em Enough Rope. The debut was very much acclaimed. So was their follow-up album, which was really, well received across the board, critically, by everyone. This is on the Epic Orange label. Although the cover is a little bit off-putting, it really did speak to what the Clash was all about in the early going. The Clash was, Joe Strummer had taken the band in a very political, lyrically, and it wasn't until much later not much later, but until their third album, where you really start seeing more of the influences in Mick Jones and Paul Simonon as far as lyrically and musically. This was still very much straight ahead punk. You know, they were exploring their musical side, but really were holding very much onto their roots for this album. Safe European Home, favorite song in this record. Third album, which is my favorite of all time, and it's an exceptional album. The Clash with London Calling. Now, this is really where you start seeing a lot more of the influence of the other two members who wrote a lot of the songs and really pushed the influence, and that was Mick with a lot more of the pop sound, and Paul with a little bit more of the reggae sound to go along with Joe's just hard driving, you know, socially active lyrics. Favorite song on this album, actually, there's quite a few of them, but if I had to, you know, gun to my head, so to speak, Spanish Bombs on this one is probably my favorite, followed closely by all of them. Safe European, I'm sorry, this one, along with London Calling, Spanish Bombs, London Calling, Revolution Rock, just all of them. There just isn't a bad track on the record as far as I'm concerned. So that one is London Calling. I have two copies of London Calling. This is an 80s repress with the hype sticker. I also have a 180 gram vinyl reissue. I had my original copy, which I bought in '79 when this came out. Unfortunately, that one, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, I played the hell out of that album. So that one really is, that one just never made it back. So I always keep an eye out to find a first pressing of London Calling. But the two I have really sound fantastic. Then I have a Black Market Clash. This is a 10-inch. Really good songs. Bank Robber is my favorite on this one, followed closely by Capital Radio. This is on the new disc. There you go. Which was pretty cool. Then Sandanista came next. Now this I have my UK press and the US press. Again, very similar to the debut album with the pressings. This one has the hype sticker, which is great, and it's still, and this one's got, the cover's a little soft, but the labels, the US pressing of Sandanista is on the standard Epic label. UK press of Sandanista is on the Columbia label. And that's really cool. I mean, they number them. It's really just a really cool label. I thought they did a really nice job with this. And for a 3-record set. Now, the story with the Clash, as said by Topper Hedden on a recent interview, he was on PBS of all places. And they were talking about Sandanista. And one of the things that the Clash insisted on was giving their fans value for their money, which is why Sandanista is a 3-record set. They wanted to make a 3-record set, and so that they would be able to get value for the money spent Favorite songs on this is actually two, Magnificent Seven, which I think is probably the most well-known on this. And When Ivan Meets G.I. Joe is the other one, which I think is absolutely phenomenal on this record. So, British copy, pretty much standard fare, and there's no real difference on this one as far as covers are concerned. Yeah, so that was Sandanista. Combat Rock was the second to last of their studio albums. This one was the last one, I believe, the last studio album with Mick Jones on it. I think they parted ways shortly after this one. This one is again the Epic label. Cool thing about they just kind of like perpetually change the labels, and very few of the albums just have your stock label on them. This one also had the 7-inch Should I Stay or Should I Go. It's not a promo copy, it's just that I happened to find the 7-inch and I just included it. I slid it in here with that. And again, this is all four of the boys. And this one was certainly their most commercially successful album, with Should I Stay or Should I Go and Rock the Casbah being the two biggest ones. My favorite song on this one, though, was Straight to Hell, which I thought was a really well written, although terribly, can't even go sad ballad, but just a terribly. It's not really a ballad. It's more of a sad story in music form. So their worst of the studio albums. This was after Mick Jones left, and it was basically Topper was gone, Mick was gone, and it was just Joe and Paul. And then they brought three other guys in this one. Nick Sheppard, Pete Howard, and Vince White were the last three on this album. Not at all a good album. I don't like it. I thought it was you really missed Joe Strummer, for all his talent, and he had a ton of it. Really did his best work when he was pushed by Mick Jones to do, and you know. I like the cover. Thought the cover was really cool when they did it. I liked the inner sleeve as well. This Is England is my favorite song on this particular album. Not really much to say on that album. It's just it's not that very good. This is the This Is England single. You know, a couple of interesting fun facts on This Is England. If you've never heard the song, it was This Is England. One of this is England, Land of Illegal Dances. I did not know this. This is the Rock the Casbah single. They kind of went, except, I mean, for a politically motivated song, it really was just kind of a disco-y beat for them. And they actually released a 12-inch single. This one's cool. This is the London Calling Armageddon Time single. Now this one actually is a British pressing, and paper cover. I like it. Great cover, great album. This is a white label promo on Columbia. So I was kind of pleased when I found this at an estate sale this year, along with some other things. I paid up for it, but it was, you know, in my mind, it was worth it. this is really interesting too. This is Rat Patrol from Fort Bragg. This is a recent reissue on orange splatter vinyl. I don't know if you can see it or not. And two things about this. Rat Patrol from Fort Bragg was supposed to be the original title for hold on. Da-da-da-da-da. Combat Rock. I think they should have gone with Rat Patrol from Fort Bragg. I don't know how much they would have been able to get, how they would have been able to get away with it or not, but that's a great title. So this I bought about a year ago off eBay. Really nice, heavy cardboard stock. Really well laid out. Great photos of the guys and how young they were. You know, when you're a teenager, these guys look old to me, or at least adult to me. Now I look back on it and I'm like, these guys were kids. So this one was all I picked up recently. I had this on CD, but I didn't. A friend of mine had sent me a text and he goes, "Hey, I picked up the Story of the Clash on vinyl. Do you want it?" And we traded for it. And this is again a great album. It's a ladder reissue on heavy stock. You know, really nice gatefold. All four of the guys. You know, your standard Epic label. But it's a great, you know, it's a great compilation if you want to consider a best of or a greatest hits. Story of the Clash Volume 1. Again, great cover front and back, and a really nice gatefold. They have stories of all the guys. I mean, you know, you can't read it, but each one of the guys has their own little bio. And it's just a great album and a great story if you like the Clash. And then the last one, just picked up again about a year ago, and this is Live at Shea. Hype sticker and all. Still got the shrink. This is a 180 gram album. Really heavy, nice and great label. For those of you who don't know, the Clash played Shea and they opened for The Who. And they got booed. And it didn't go well. And that's, you know, that's okay, because I mean, you know, nobody knew who the hell they were. If you were a classic rocker, you had no idea what punk rock was at the time. So these guys come on stage and open a set, and it was raining and it was miserable, and they got booed off the stage. So you would think that, you know, nobody would admit to having gone to that concert because they got booed off the stage. Now, Shea Stadium holds, I think it held at the time, 36,000 people. I'm telling you right now, if you took a poll, I guarantee you that somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 to 100,000 people would tell you that they were at that show, watching the Clash open up for The Who. I was not at that show watching the Clash open up for The Who. I did see the Clash live a couple of times. One of the coolest shows was actually, oddly enough, after Mick and Topper left. It was the Cut the Crap tour, but they did most of their early stuff on that tour, and I saw them at Stony Brook University's gymnasium, which is like, fantastic. It's a gym. It's a big gym because Stony Brook University is a D1 school, but it's still a gymnasium. It's not, so it was really from, I don't know, 30 feet, 50 feet from the stage to my seats. So it's a great show. It was a lot of fun to go. So that's it. That's my collage collection. If you have some oddities that I don't have, I know there's, of late, they've done a lot of new releases. One comes to mind, I think it was released last year, the year before, called Clash the Singles. And there's a couple of things that are on my want list of Discogs that I'll get around to getting as time permits. But for right now, this is my collage collection. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like it, what you don't like. If you like my video, please subscribe. Always appreciated. If you don't like my video and then don't subscribe, and that's okay. It's all cool. No worries, no harm, no foul. I don't do this for a living. I do this for fun. So today is the first Monday in November. So hopefully everyone had a really, really safe and fun Halloween. We now get to look forward to Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys have a great week. Enjoy yourselves. Have fun. I'll speak to you next week. Cheers.